So this is something I just wanted to talk about in detail a little bit here, get off my chest. I've mentioned this in several videos, but I think I've mostly edited the ranting out because, I go off the deep end when I want to talk about a particular beer, and I go off about the breweries or some other shit. So I wanted to make a video about something I've been seeing going on for a few years now, and it's good and it's bad. This is the amount of it sounds like say breweries, and I'm just saying it fast. The amount of nano, mostly nano, breweries that have been opening up in America in the past, let's say 5 years. I'm finding a lot of them opening just the past 5 years. So let's say since 2012. That's 5 years, right? Here's the deal. Back in the 70s, there were a few. In the 80s, there were so many more, several dozen more. By the 90s, they started becoming more and more common. And by the 2000s, actually up through the 2000s, they were getting more common. But by the 2010s, they were exploding. There are breweries opening up, it seems like every other weekend somewhere in the country. And at least where I live, a large amount of these operations are nanos. They're 5 barrels or less. I think a nano technically might be 3 barrels or less. I'd have to look it up. But they are 2-3 barrel is not uncommon. Actually, a guy that I bought some of my cakes from, his is 1 barrel. I never had his beer. He's a good guy. I like him, but I just never had his beer. So anyhow, here's the problem I'm having. I visited a number of breweries that have been open just since the 2010s. Some of them started in 2013, 2014, maybe a couple of years before that, but they're all within a short time period. They've all opened pretty recently. Pound for pound, I'm finding a number of them, not all, but a number of them are horrible. They suck. They absolutely suck. There was one, actually there's a couple I went to in the central part of the state last summer, was it, that their quality was horrific. And even around where I live, I've been to several, many more, that opened up just, really recently, within the past 3 years. Not all of them are terrible, but many of them are just, they have their focus maybe on one particular style, and their quality is just not that good at all. I've done a few reviews on these breweries I've been to. In fact, I can think of 3 just off the very top of my head that their quality was absolutely shit. Terrible. Horrible. Didn't taste anything like the style should. And yet, another thing I find too is when I go look at reviews on all these places, all of them have stellar 5-star, oh my god, best beer ever. Well, there's something I had Lay tell me a few years ago that I totally agree with her. This is the homebrew supply store. I was talking to her about all these new nano breweries that are opening up, people's garages, opening up, in a shed somewhere, because I think a lot of them want to cash in on brewing. I don't think that half of them know what the fuck they're doing. They just want to cash in on it. I really do. That's how I feel. And she told me, yeah, she said, many of these reviewers that you see are, the people that go, oh my god, best beer ever, when the beer has off flavors, when it's nasty, gross. She said they just want alcohol. That's all they care about. They don't care if the drink have a toilet, they just want alcohol. And a nano I went to earlier this year, I don't go there anymore just because, there's a few reasons I don't go there. But anyway, the head brewer actually told me he has had 21, 22-year-olds come in that the first thing they ask is, What's the highest alcohol beer you have? We don't even care what we're drinking. We just want to get drunk. And from what he told me, he says, you know what? Nah, don't drink here. Go get yourself a Hurricane, a Steel Reserve. That's better for you. That's better than staying here because that stuff's high alcohol. It's getting you fucked up. My beer's not designed to do that. I actually agree with him on that one. There's so many breweries opening up, and I really feel like many of them have no qualifications. What they did, and when I've actually heard this a few times, they started with a Mr. Beer kit, maybe had that for Christmas, birthday, whatever. They played with that for a while, then that worked out, then they started then they advanced all grain brewing. They brewed for maybe 2 years ago. I could do this. And they opened up a brewery. Out of the several brewers I have talked to in these nanobreweries that just are, just opened up out of nowhere, and, they're churning out beer left and right. Several of them said they have no formal education at all. I go, okay, you don't have a degree in brewing sciences. Did you take any single class? Did you shadow a brewmaster? Nope. Nope. I read a bunch of websites on it. I just started brewing. That's how I learned. I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? You didn't even shadow with someone who's professional? Really? There's been several who've said that they have no experience except they just jumped into going, well, I brewed at home, and we knew if we could do it at home, we could do it commercially. No, you can't. It's not the same. Not even close. How do I know that? Because I've brewed commercially. I have home brewed since 2005. I commercial brewed several years ago, but over the period of time I did, and I did it for free because I wanted to learn the process. I shadowed with 4 brewmasters. They had experience ranging from, I think the least amount anybody had was 5 years. The most anybody had was about 15 years. These guys knew their shit, and they corrected me on things I thought I knew and I didn't. When I bring some of these things up to the brewers of these nanos that just jumped up out of nowhere, go, oh my god, I've brewed for 2 months, I can do this commercially. When I mention these things I learned, they go, oh no, yeah, that doesn't matter at all. Yeah, it does matter. Yeah, it does. It does make a difference. But the reason they stay in business is because people just want alcohol. They don't care the quality of it. It can be the nastiest shit. They don't care. They want to get drunk. Not everybody's this way, but a lot of them are. So I'm just I love having the selection. It's so nice having people out there want to get into this, want to make more beer, create more styles. Hey, I am all for that. That's great. What I'm tired of is people who don't know what the fuck they're doing. Okay, they've brewed at home for 6 months, or even 2 years ago. I could do this. I can brew commercially. I can figure it out. Well, obviously not, because most of you really suck at it. You need to shadow under a professional, take some classes, read a book written by a professional, because you know what? Your cleaning sucks, your recipes suck. Not all of you are this way, but many of them are. And even my lady, who's a connoisseur like I am, she's at some of the, and she is way more forgiving than me. She's at some of these and said, oh my god, this is shit. Who brewed this? This is terrible. It's because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. A lot of them don't. So, anyway, I love seeing new stuff come up, but you know what? Just because you've homebrewed for a few years does not make you qualified. So, don't waste your time with it. If you're not prepared to work in actual brewery under people's experience or go get some train somewhere, please don't start another brewery. Okay, home brewing is not the same as commercial, not even close. It's not. I've done it. It's not the same. So anyway, yeah, that's all I have on this one here. I'm just tired of all these new brews coming up. They don't know what the hell they're doing.